two practical examples on how can we calculate the working days here in Excel or business days. One example, we're going to see how can we have how many days there are in between two dates, the start date and the end date. And we can also include here and consider to this math, this calculation, the holidays and also the weekends. And you can have a little of different settings that you can configure. And in this first example right here, we're going to calculate the end date using the start point, the start date, and an addition of a couple days to it. So let's start here with the first example where we're going to use the Workday International function. And here I have a couple of different projects, and each one of these projects has a start point and also a couple of days that I need to finish or to complete each one of those projects. So let's say the first project that I have here, 0001, it's starting January 1st of 2024. And now I want to complete this first project in 5 days. To have the end date is pretty much easy. So let's say I can use here the first cell and input here the equal sign and then select the start date, add to, plus sign, add to 5 days. And then I can press enter. Okay, this is the end date. But maybe there is some important information to consider here, such as the holidays and also maybe the weekends, such as Saturday and Sunday, or another day of the week that you want to consider here. So instead of manually create a formula like that, I want to have something more precise. Let's say, let me read it off this function. And now equal sign, Workday International. The second option right here, 1, 2 to select. As the first argument that the Workday International asks me is about the start date. And the start date is this date that I have right here to the left. And then, comma, how many days I want to count from this start date? 5 days. So I can select this cell right here. Or manually, I can input the number 5. But because I want to make it dynamic for all the rows that I have, I think it's easier to just select the cell where I have the number 5. And then I can press enter. Simple as that. So basically, we can include in this function just 2 different arguments, the start date and the days itself. And we're going to have here already the correct result, January 8th. And if we check here in the calendar, we can see if we start in January 1st right here, and 5 days from January 1st is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And as we didn't input any configuration about the weekends, the Workday International function is going to consider Saturday and also Sunday to be the weekends. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can skip Saturday and Sunday, and we're going to have day 8 as the result, January 8th. So let's check here. Yeah, it's perfectly correct. And if I click here in the down right corner of the cell, click, hold, and drag down, I can make sure all the rows contain basically the same function. But we can also append a couple of different informations here, such as, let me read it off this last parenthesis, and then comma. Now the argument that I have in the Workday International is the weekend. And I can choose as the argument Saturday and Sunday, or Sunday and Monday, or Monday and Tuesday, Tuesday and Wednesday, and on. Or you can also select here just one specific day, such as Sunday only, Monday only, Tuesday only, and on. I'm gonna stick here with the first option, Saturday and Sunday. Double click, 1, 2. And remember, if you just skip this argument, comma and comma again to use here the holidays, or just close parentheses without select any different optional argument, you're gonna have the weekends as Saturday and Sunday. So let me include here a comma and manually select that weekend that I want to use here. Saturday and Sunday, 1, 2, and then comma. As the holidays, I want to skip this option for now. So let me close here parentheses and then enter. We're gonna have, of course, a similar result, January 8th, because we are using here the same weekends, Saturday and Sunday, as we did before. So now I want to include here some holidays. So let's say, just gonna create here a random holiday. Let's say the January 10th is a holiday. So I can include here in my list. Or, of course, you can append this holiday, this date, within the function. But I'm gonna use the cells of Excel itself because I can use the same range for another functions. I can basically just let these holidays saved here in this spreadsheet. So let's say January 10th of 2024. Enter. This is a holiday that I want to consider in the function. 1, 2 to open the function. Now I'm going to read it off again, the last parentheses, and then a comma. And as the holiday, I want to select here just this specific date. I can close parentheses and then press enter. If I click here, click, hold, and drag down in the down right corner of the cell, and make sure all the rows contain the same function. But something very important that we need to be mindful is whenever you click, hold, and drag down a function, as you guys can see, all the references is going to move down following the function itself, okay? And the same thing is going to be applied here to the holidays. If we click, hold, and drag down a function, all the range is going to follow along. But this range here of the holidays, I need to lock this range in this specific position here. It can move. So I need to go to the first cell, 1, 2, and then here in this first function, I'm going to select the range, that is F5. I'm going to press F4 key to basically lock the reference and append the $sign before the letter and before the number to make sure we can lock this reference in the same position ever. Enter. Now let's again click, hold, and drag down to make sure all the rows contain the same function, and now it's working. So let's take this example right here. If a project starts at January 1st of 2024, and we have 10 days to complete this project, and we are also using here in the end date Saturday and Sunday as the holiday. Okay, so this is the first criteria. And the second criteria is the holiday, that is the January 10th. Let's check what is the end date, and if it's January 16th is the correct result. So let's take a look here. The start point is January 1st, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to skip the weekends. 5, 6. I'm going to skip the holiday. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, January 16th. Yes, it's perfectly correct. So this is how we can use the Workday International to have the end date from a start date and using an addition of days, and also consider here some holidays and weekends. Another similar example that we can have is, let's say here I have a report of the days I worked per month. So basically I have January, February, March, April, and on, the start date and also the end date. I want to know how many days I worked in each one of the months of this year, 2024. I can use here, instead of using the workdays, because the workdays is gonna return for me as result the end date, okay, a date with day, month, and year, or month, day, and year, a complete date. But if we want to know not the date, but the days itself, how many days there are in between two dates, we can use the NETWORKDAYS.INTL. It's a different function, but to use this function, the structure, the arguments is pretty much the same. So let's take a look here. =, NETWORKDAYS.INTL, 1, 2. And the start date that I want to use here is going to be this first date that I have, and then comma. My end date is just here underneath the function, but I can't properly select. So let me click here in any cell, and with the arrow keys, I can go to the left and then move down. Okay, perfect. I just select the end date, and now comma, the weekend. Now I'm going to do something different here. I'm going to consider as the weekend being, let's say, Sunday only. Double click, 1, 2, and then comma. As the holidays, I want to consider maybe a range like this. I'm going to input here one more day to be considered as the holiday. Okay, so this is why I select here a range instead of just using one specific cell. Very important to press the F4 key to lock the reference for the reasons that we learned before. And then I can close parentheses and then enter. And here I have the total days worked in each one of these range that I have, the start date, the end date. Here we have the days worked. Now let's include one more holiday here. Let's say February 4th. Let's check here. February 4th is Sunday, so we're gonna take maybe 7th. February 7th of 2024. Okay, enter. And here we got the correct result. So this is how we can use Excel to calculate the end date using a start point and a couple of criteria that we just learned, and also to calculate how many days we worked, for example, or how many days there are in between two dates using different conditions, such as weekends and holidays. I hope this video can help you out, and if you have any questions or any suggestions to the next videos, let me know, comment down below, because every day has a new video, so I see you there.